darlings. Hello, plant. Let's talk about 6-2s. 6-2s. I'm excited about this because I have so many 6-2s in my world. They are fucking flies to honey with me. They see me, they get me. I love them. Some of my dearest, bestest friends are 6-2s. And we just have a natural flow, me being a 4-6. I think we just sort of get each other. We're like, hey, you hard on yourself? You're a perfectionist? And I'm like, yeah, you too. So there's a little bit of camaraderie there. Anytime you have synchronicities with the numbers, there's a certain level of understanding because there's a similarity to the approach. Even though the 6-2 has the 6 in the conscious side, which is the personality, and the 2 is in the unconscious, which is the design side, if you want to put it that way. So we talked a little bit about the 6 in the 4-6 video, so you may get some different kind of wisdom from that, because sometimes when I talk about something, I talk about it in new ways nearly every time. So you might get a little medicine from that one, but we'll cover what the 6 is, we'll cover what the 2 is, and then we will talk about the profile, you know, as a entity, as those numbers connect when they come together, and I think we'll have some fun. So let's talk about the 6. I've got a few books here that I'm going to be referring to and just adding some layers to. So the 6, out of the 12 profiles, the 6 is the highest expression. It is the highest number that we are working combinations with. So it's 1 through 6 that the profile combinations are made up of. So the 6 has this certain on-the-roofness, aloofness, and arrogance. It very much can have an arrogance to it of, I already see where this is going to go, so I'm not even going to bother adding my energy to it or contributing in any kind of way. There's a certain level of, because I can see the outcome, or I'm pretty sure I can see the future, I just won't even address or include or add myself to the equation. And that aloofness and that arrogance can really keep 6s feeling like they're isolated. A lot of people with 6 profiles, especially in the conscious side, so the 6-2s, 6-3s, they can often feel like, well, no one's including me, nobody wants me, so why bother anyway? But it's important, as I mentioned in the 4-6 video, that the 6 includes itself. No one is going to collect you off the roof. They oftentimes feel like they can't even approach you because there's such a separation usually. And oftentimes 6s have this awareness that people are looking at them to be a role model. This is the role model energy. So there are people looking up to you to navigate things in a certain way or to portray yourself in a certain way. And this really high standard from birth, especially again, when the 6 is conscious, so the 6-3s or the 6-2s. That can create a lot of pressure, and usually again, especially 6-2s are born feeling like they're the adult. They're usually born into systems and families that are needing another mature, responsible figure present in the family dynamic. So a lot of 6-2s I talk to are like, yeah, I was the parent, or I raised my mom, or I raised my siblings, and had an extremely high expectation placed on them, even if it was just energetically. But typically there's factual evidentiary support to show how they were given the brunt of responsibility in their families in some way or another. So we have leadership, perfectionism, maturity, visibility. That's a great point, visibility. So again, people are looking to you. They're looking for you to model. They're looking for you to lead the way, blaze the trail, be the person they know and believe you are to be. There's an optimism here, an embodiment, observer, perspective, and there is trial and error with the 6. The 6 often uses the first 30 years all the way up into the Saturn return to experiment and be a little chaotic and bump into some things and gather some boots on the ground experience, some wisdom we call it. And then of course, moving all the way up into the Chiron return around 50, there is the knowledge aspect that comes into play. Now these all weave together throughout all the different seasons, but then the final, I was gonna say trimester, the final season of the 6 is to come down to share the experiences, to alchemize the lessons, and to share the knowledge and teach, guide, be visible, right? I love this reflection questions for the 6 line. What new perspectives have I gained on life lately? How can I let people see more of who I am? And where am I afraid to make mistakes? What will help me try something without judging myself as a failure? Love this. And this is coming from the beautiful book, Modern Guide to Human Design by Rachel Liberman. It's very playful, bright, beautiful. I also want to mention the shyness or boldness theme with the 6. It usually pendulum swings from one or the other. I've now realized that that will ping. So let me put this thing on Do Not Disturb real quick. Hopefully that'll keep it quiet. Okay, so shyness to boldness. So there's like being really, really extroverted or being really, really, really introverted, stepping into the observer role. And these are just the pendulums that exist within the 6 line. I'm sorry, that's the 2, the shyness, boldness. Sorry. The 6 is all about trust or not, sympathy or apathy, leadership or not, soulmate or not, objectivity. Soulmate or not, trust or not is a really, really big piece with 6s. Very, very big piece with 6s. So I want to emphasize this for people that are 6'2 or 6'3. Well, you're likely a 6'2 if you're listening to this, but emphasizing it because the 6 is in the conscious personality. You have control of this. Be someone who is trustworthy. Be someone who deserves to be looked up to. Embody that. You are already called to it. The spotlight sort of is on you without you trying. So step into it, own it, and be someone of integrity within it. This is your dharma. This is your karma. This is a transpersonal profile. So you are here for very divine karmic interactions with others as the 6-2 comes into play. Let's talk about the 2 before we go into too much 6-2 conversation. The Hermit. Some keynotes are discernment, humility, innocence, awaiting the call, nerding out, natural gifts, magnetism, harmony, sacred space, and solitude. The 2 is often referred to as someone with innate gifts and talents. People with hermit profiles need ample time alone to be immersed in their interests and natural talents. Natural is the key word, which means they may not even realize that the things that come easily to them are extraordinary. Hermits rely on others to let them know that they are doing an exceptional job and call them out to share their gifts with the world. Second line individuals are attractive. They pull people in to offer them opportunities and invitations through sheer magnetism of talent. If you have a second line in your profile, make sure you're using your authority to figure out which offers are correct for you. You don't have to leave your hermit den unless it feels aligned. This is awesome. Awesome wisdom for the 2. There's some reflection questions of what do other people often tell me I'm good at? This is really helpful for 2s. Who can I depend on to help me reflect where I'm having a hard time seeing and understanding myself? And what do I notice myself doing and feeling when I haven't had enough alone time? Huge. Very big. This is very important as well for 5-2s, 2-5s, because the 5 is always needed and the 2 is like, please leave me alone. 2-4s also can definitely get into the service loop, and then the 2 is like, I just want to go away and never come back. But we're talking 6-2s today. So So let's talk about the 6'2" as it relates to a combined profile. As a 6'2", people naturally watch you. Whether you know it or not, others are always curious about how you navigate life, 6th line, and what cool things you're up to as you go about your business, 2nd line. As you go through your first 6th line, trial and error life phase, you'll be immersed in the chaos of the world. However, as you mature and grow beyond the age of 30, you'll need more alone time and separation from society than the average person. This is completely healthy, and you can honor that urge to balance your hermit tendencies. Find controllable ways to let people peer in and see how you live your life without sacrificing your peace and quiet time. You've got a lot to share just by being, and finding ways to allow others to observe you will benefit everyone. Finding ways to allow others to observe you. So I have a few 6'2" friends that are manifesting generators, and they're amazing at informing. They give me little insights of their day and what they're up to, and we communicate through Instagram, through messaging, and little nuggets that they're exploring and immersing themselves into, and that really helps them be visible to me. And it's very beautiful. I know I benefit a lot from the relationship when it comes to them doing that. And then, of course, I always know they're cooking something up. And this is true for all 6'2s. Like, I have a projector 6'2" friend, and there's always something going on. She's tinkering with something, learning something, dancing through something. There's a natural, innate flow with life and curiosity to explore and expand, and it's very nourishing to a relationship. I find it very entertaining. Let's give some keynotes for the 6'2" profile: pessimism, calling, discernment, metamorphosis, solitude, responsibility, transition, unique perfection, perspective, maturity, vulnerability, sacred space, development, embodiment, discovery, experimentation. And the pessimism keynote, by the way, because that's the one that really I think kind of stands out, comes from the 2. The 2 line can be extremely cynical. And this is, of course, when it's in its shadow state and when it's sort of depleted or withdrawn, or it hinted at it in the book there when it said, what tendencies emerge from me when I haven't gotten enough alone time? And I think cynicism is one of the most natural things that, the 2 is just like, the world is annoying. It's because you need some breaks. You need some space. Okay, let's read a little nugget from the Human Design Bible by Ra. Role model hermits are idealists looking for the perfect life and perfect mate. This is like the perfect statement for y'all. Someone they can stand with, relate to, and be proud of. The potential partner must be bold, however, and break through the 6'2" barrier. During the first 30-year trial and error cycle, they jump into intimacy only to suffer from disillusionment and disappointment. Typically, meeting their mate is possible only after they enter the retreat phase of life, and yet a lot of time can be spent in this phase trying to change a partner into the perfect model. This is like after age 30 all the way up until 50. It is important that 6'2s live their truth and not attempt to change the truth of others. Trust is nourishing for the role model hermit, and they cannot be intimate with anyone they cannot trust. If the trust is broken, you will only get access to the 6'2 on a superficial level. Yeah. Some famous 6'2s: Barack Obama, Charles Dickens, George Lucas, Harry Truman, Henry Ford, Zelda Fitzgerald. Very cool. Very, very cool. Yeah, 6'2s. I often have a huge amount of compassion and empathy when they end up in my office, because I'm like, how about we just take a break? And they're usually like, please, yes. They need a lot of self-care, a lot of nourishment, a lot of support from network-oriented beings, because they are constantly feeling like they have to do more, be more, embody more, be visible more, retreat more. I mean, there can be a lot of duality with this combination, and it can lead to exhaustion if the perfect balance of physical, emotional, and intellectual nourishment isn't in place. So that is key. Really monitoring the levels of all those things that I just listed and making sure that you are nourished. And if you're not, you identify how you could be as a 6-2. 6-2s, I often find, get along with most profiles. They are just seen as perfect and somehow find a way to be relatable to most people, which is just so beautiful. I think that is where the emphasis of being discerning comes in for the 6-2, because it's not a matter of people not wanting you or liking you. It's a matter of you deciding if they are the correct people for you, using your authority in your body, and then also deciding if you want to influence them, if you want to teach them or share with them, if it fuels you, if you gain something from it. And key thing is there trust here? Is there trust? Is there value in the relationship? So I love you so much, 6-2s. I hope you always know that. And it's an honor for me to dance through life with you guys. I'll leave you with the following thoughts. Activities 6-2s may enjoy: retreating to your room or sacred space to relax after a long day, puttering around your house with no plans or time constraints. Yes. Documenting and sharing your life so others can see you in action, mentoring or guiding others, canceling plans to stay home and relax, overseeing and guiding the overarching vision of a group, project, or organization, creating or working on something alone that is interesting to you, having a deep conversation with someone who gets you, correcting and critiquing something to make it better, pondering the nature of life and the universe. I love you all. We'll continue with our profile series because I'm having fun. And I hope this serves you. If you know a 6-2 or if you are a 6-2, comment, send them this video. Help a sister or a brother out. Bye, y'all.